Larry Caputo Jr., son of Long Island medium Theresa Caputo, wants to leave his first wife, Leah Munch, for a second wife, but his family is against it. Larry Caputo Jr. was at the center of his family's discussions from an early age. The light of the media, the flash of the camera, and the prying eyes of the surroundings, these had become a part of his life. But this time he has taken a decision which has not only questioned his family but also his personality. On a beautiful morning in June 2023, Larry Jr. married his longtime love, Leah Munch, on the shores of Lake Como in Italy. Everything was like a fairy tale. The golden sunlight, the reflection of the blue water, and the promise of their love. But reality is not as simple as fairy tales. After only a few months of marriage, Larry Jr. is attracted to someone else. He feels Leah is not for him. Maybe he made the wrong decision about this, or his life path took a different turn. Within a few days, she secretly married another man. One day a post suddenly came on social media. "I have made a new decision in my life. I don't want to be with Leah anymore. I will stay with my second wife." This announcement added fuel to the fire. Family, friends, and fans are shocked. Theresa Caputo, who has always stood by her children, was not silent this time. He called Larry directly. "What are you doing, Larry? Do you know Leah is in the hospital now? Do you know how much your decision is going to hurt her?" Larry listened quietly. The frustration and anger in her mother's voice was palpable, but he was firm in his decision. "Mom, I can't live with what I don't want. Leah's a good girl, but she's not for me. I found the man I love. I want to be with him." Theresa sighed. He knew it was hard to convince Larry right now, but he understood that this decision would not only put Larry in trouble, but the whole family. Larry Jr.'s decision split the entire Caputo family. Her sister Victoria, who had always looked up to Leah as a big sister, angrily said, "How could you do that, Larry? Leah is part of our family, don't you know that?" Even his father, Larry Sr., could not accept this decision. "What you're doing could ruin your future, Larry. Love is responsibility, have you forgotten that?" But Larry Jr. refuses to listen to anyone. He wants to stay with his second wife. However, reality TV fans were in for an emotional moment when Real Housewives of New York City alum Dorinda Medley sat down with the renowned medium Theresa Caputo from Long Island Medium. Dorinda, known for her sharp wit and extravagant lifestyle, has publicly shared her struggles with loss, particularly the passing of her late husband, Richard Medley, in 2011. Though she has moved forward, the weight of unfinished emotions lingered until now. Theresa, with her signature big blonde hair and warm energy, welcomed Dorinda into her reading space, immediately sensing an overwhelming presence. "Dorinda, I feel a strong male energy stepping forward," Theresa began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Dorinda, visibly taken aback, clutched her hands together. "Is it Richard?" she whispered, her eyes brimming with tears. Theresa nodded. "He's showing me a newspaper, something with finance and politics. Was he involved in that?" Dorinda gasped. Richard had been a well-known speechwriter and investment banker. "Yes, that was his world," she confirmed. Theresa continued, "He says you don't need to feel guilty about how things ended. He knew you loved him, and he doesn't want you to carry that pain anymore." Dorinda, who had always been the life of the party, had rarely let the world see her grief in its rawest form. But at that moment, the walls came down. "I never got to say goodbye properly," she admitted, voice trembling. "I always wondered if he knew how much I loved him, even in his final moments." Theresa smiled softly. "He says, Dorinda, of course I knew. Love doesn't stop just because life does. He wants you to live, to stop holding on to what-ifs, and to find happiness without guilt." Dorinda exhaled deeply, wiping her tears. "I needed to hear that." The session ended with Dorinda feeling lighter than she had in years. She thanked Theresa, embracing her with gratitude. "I came in skeptical, but this This was real. I feel like I can finally let go and move forward without the pain weighing me down." Theresa, always humble in her gift, simply smiled. That's what spirit wants, to bring healing, not sorrow. As Dorinda left, she felt a newfound peace, knowing Richard was still with her in spirit. She could now embrace the future without the burdens of the past, a true moment of closure. However, Emily had been struggling for years after her mother's unexpected passing. They had a close relationship, but in her mother's final moments, Emily wasn't there to say goodbye. The guilt weighed heavily on her, making it difficult for her to move forward. One day, she attended one of Theresa Caputo's live readings, unsure of what to expect. As Theresa walked through the crowd, she suddenly paused near Emily. "Your mother is here. She's showing me a locket. Do you have her necklace?" Theresa asked. Emily gasped, clutching the heart-shaped locket she always wore. It had been her mother's, a keepsake she held onto dearly. "She wants you to know that she never blamed you for not being there. She knows you loved her, and she felt your love even in her last moments," Theresa continued. Tears streamed down Emily's face. That was her deepest regret, missing her mother's final breath. "She's telling me that you keep replaying that day, wishing you could change it, but she wants you to let go of the guilt. She says you were her greatest joy, and she's so proud of you." Emily broke down, overwhelmed by the sense of peace washing over her. For years, she had carried a burden she didn't know how to release. But in that moment, she felt her mother's overwhelmed by the sense of peace washing over her. For years, she had carried a burden she didn't know how to release. But in that moment, she felt her mother's presence, comforting her in a way she never thought possible. After the reading, Emily felt lighter. She finally allowed herself to remember her mother with love, not just sorrow. Thanks to Theresa, she could embrace the memories without the pain of regret. Theresa Caputo's ability to connect with spirits has brought countless people the closure they desperately need. Whether through her TV show, live events, or private readings, she continues to bridge the gap between the living and the departed, helping people heal in the most profound ways. However, one of the most touching moments in her career was when she connected with actor Kelsey Grammer and his late sister, Karen Grammer. Kelsey Grammer, famous for his roles in Frasier and Cheers, has experienced deep personal tragedies. One of the most heartbreaking was the loss of his sister, Karen Grammer, in 1975. Karen was just 18 years old when she was abducted and murdered in Colorado. The tragedy deeply affected Kelsey, shaping his outlook on life and adding to the series of personal hardships he has endured. During an emotional session with Theresa Caputo, Kelsey was able to reconnect with Karen in a way he had never imagined. Theresa, using her gift as a medium, shared messages that she claimed were coming from Karen. She described details of Karen's personality, memories they had shared, and emotions that Kelsey had kept buried for years. At one point, Theresa reportedly told Kelsey that Karen wanted him to know she had never truly left him, that she had been watching over him, and that she wanted him to find peace. The session brought tears to Kelsey's eyes as he felt a renewed sense of closeness with his sister. For Kelsey, who has carried the weight of grief for decades, this reading provided a moment of healing. While skeptics may question the authenticity of such connections, Kelsey himself expressed gratitude for the experience, saying that it gave him comfort. Theresa Caputo's ability to touch people's hearts with her readings is why she remains such a beloved figure. Whether or not one believes in mediumship, her interactions often provide emotional release for those dealing with loss. However, one of the most touching stories in her career involved a mother who lost her daughter in a tragic boating accident. Linda, a mother from New York, had been struggling with the sudden loss of her 19-year-old daughter, Emily. Emily had been on a lake trip with friends when an unexpected storm caused the boat to capsize. Despite rescue efforts, she drowned before help could reach her. Linda never got to say goodbye, and the pain of her daughter's sudden passing left her with deep sorrow and unanswered questions. When Linda attended a group reading with Theresa Caputo, she had no idea what to expect. She was skeptical but desperate for closure. As the session began, Theresa started picking up on a young female presence who had passed suddenly in water. "I keep seeing a girl in a white dress, waving. She's saying, 'Mom, I'm okay. I'm with Grandma,'" Theresa said, looking directly at Linda. Tears welled up in Linda's eyes as she clutched a locket with Emily's picture inside. Theresa continued, "She's telling me she didn't suffer. It was quick. She wants you to stop blaming yourself. It wasn't your fault, and she knows how much you love her." Linda broke down, finally feeling a sense of peace after years of carrying guilt and grief. Emily had been her only daughter, and losing her had left a void that nothing could fill. But through Theresa's reading, Linda felt a connection with Emily again. Before the reading ended, Theresa shared one last message from Emily. "Mom, I see the letters you write to me. I see you sitting by the lake, talking to me. I'm always there with you." Linda later revealed that she often sat by the lake where Emily used to love spending time, writing letters in her journal as if speaking to her daughter. This message confirmed that Emily was still watching over her. For Linda, this experience was life-changing. She left the session with a sense of peace, knowing that Emily was safe and still connected to her in spirit. Theresa's ability to connect grieving parents with their lost children has made her a beacon of hope for many. Whether you believe in her gift or not, the comfort and closure she brings to families are undeniable. Stories like Linda and Emily's remind us that love never truly dies, it just changes form. However, one of her most emotional readings came when a mother came through to speak to her children, giving them a heartfelt farewell. During this reading, Theresa connected with a mother who had passed away. The mother's message was filled with love and reassurance for her children, telling them she was at peace and that it was time for her to go. The emotional intensity of the reading was palpable, with Theresa conveying the mother's deep sorrow at having to leave, yet also expressing her pride in her children and her desire for them to continue living their lives with joy. The children were overwhelmed with emotion as they heard the messages from their mother, and the validation of their feelings made the experience feel even more profound. Theresa, with her gift, was able to help them find a sense of closure. It was not just about the mother saying goodbye, but about providing a sense of ongoing connection between them, even after her passing. This particular reading was not only powerful because of the love and bond between a mother and her children, but also because it highlighted the importance of closure. Theresa's gift provided a channel for a parent to say one final, loving goodbye, offering comfort and healing for those left behind. In readings like this, Theresa often encourages people to hold on to the love and memories, showing that even after someone is gone, they remain a part of our lives. Hello lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Mina, hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel.